Hey guys, and welcome to the NiBBLE bi-weekly series, the finale of the series for 2021. And I want to say a huge congratulations to everyone that has made it into these final rounds. It was not the easiest tasks. I mean, we only had 23 duos come from qualifier 1 on Wednesday. 23 duos qualify from Thursday, and now we have our 50 duos due to the champions coming out from week 17. Jamie, Ginger, as well as NiBBLE, the two brothers, Jamie and NiBBLE, managing to secure the last trio event here for the NiBBLE bi-weekly series. But we're on to duos right now, and this is going to be the first duo event that we have on our hands. It's definitely going to be an interesting set of games, and I just want to say a huge thank you to each and every Fortnite competitive player, the supporters we have as well in the stream, the viewers that come through to hype it up. It has been one amazing year and journey with you guys with the NiBBLE bi-weekly series. With that being said, guys, let's see exactly what we have in store for us today. It is that a juicy prize pool of 4,000 Rand. First place taking home 2,500, second taking home 1,000 Rand, and third taking home 500 Rand. Now, top three is going to be getting the prize pool distribution. We don't usually see this coming in from everyone today. And yeah, I just want to say again, thank you to NiBBLE as well for the continuous support in the Fortnite South African community. But guys, we're going to have to jump into the games. The games have started, the games have launched, and they're going into the battle for the win for today, the last champions. And I want to see some predictions. I want to see some hype in the chat. I want to see you guys go as loud as possible for who you guys think will be walking away with the tournament today. I can tell you there's Reepsy and Crispy who are hungry for this one. There's also Travis and Rejects, the new duo for Goliath Gaming. There's Namon Woke, who arguably have had a needed comeback in the NiBBLE bi-weekly series. We have Ginger and Jamie, who won the previous tournaments last time around. So who will be walking away with this fantastic prize pool, with this fantastic NiBBLE bi-weekly series duo event? It is the finale of 2021, and let's go jump on board with the players, the games that we have on our hands. It is game number 1, and I can tell you it is definitely going to be an interesting evening that we have for you guys. So make sure you guys are sharing the streams. We also do have $5 up for grabs for the viewers in the stream today. 100 players will be jumping out the battle bus to join us here for the tournament, and already the action is alive. The action is set for us. Here, Clubs and Ace coming out in a arguably consistent games in their qualifiers, managing to win 2 out of the 3 games. Really consistent plays for them right here. But they are contested at Dirty Dogs and already getting tagged up, and this is not looking too good. He has to stay safe. He has to stay hidden. With 47 HP, he needs to get to his teammate so that they can try play this one out. If they do die of spawn in game number 1, it's not going to be an interesting set. Going into game number 2, they're going to need a comeback, a needed comeback as well. A player right there. Ace, however, managing to get the elimination. Now Ace needs to try. He's to your left. To your right. He's literally right there. Does look like they're going to get another POV over here. But they can't get eliminated, and they don't. They win it. Easy Storm Surge already secured for the team. Glubs and Ace with a secure of a doubt. 2 elimination points. Managing to rank in as well. So this is already successful for the team. Managing to do that over there, guys. So let's go. Now that they've cleared out the enemies at the place over there, we'll be looking at Neymar and Woke at Misty Meadows. It does look like, however, they're going to find themselves being uncontested. So Neymar and Woke are going to be needing to do the damage going into the next rotations, because it is the finals. Only the best of the best duos from qualifier 1 as well as qualifier 2 managed to qualify into the finals over here. So I can tell you it is going to be one hell of a stacked end game that we have on our board, and 5 games to be expected from the duos over here. So we will be crowning the champion very late at 7:45 for the final game over there. So let's see exactly what can come into play for the teams. Buzzy and the likes are already getting some eliminations and kill points, but it comes down to who is consistent over the 5 games. You can rock up with the most amazing game number 1, but we do know what that means going into game 2. Pressure to remain on that leaderboard, to stay consistent, is going to be heavy on the competitors' shoulders. So for somebody like Neymar and Woke, who have done so well in the previous part, know exactly what it's like to be in the top, what it's like to stay consistent. Infernal and Alco already finding himself being eliminated, so not having the most successful games. However, Vibes and Dabs, who came first in their qualifier 2 yesterday, are here to show up to the party, are here to bring in the hype. Will they be able to, however, secure the wins as they did last time around? They managed to secure so many eliminations as well, and just balance out that point system with placements as well as eliminations to rank in first of qualifier number 2. However, we saw so many players and so many pros in qualifier 1. Was it an easy victory for this team? Did they have a challenge off their hands? Were they going up against anyone that sort of gave them a hiccup? We'll only have to find out here in finals, when we also have the qualifier 1 finalists meeting up together. So definitely things cannot always go according to, the set qualifiers, because of the players playing in each qualifier and so forth. I can tell you now that the skill base of finalists is definitely so close to one another that if they go into a box fight situation in the mid rotations or even end game, they'll find themselves being in a tough position. And we've already seen Aviva as well as Ethan already been eliminated from their game, so that's just very unfortunate. Manja, who's here in the tournament with his console duo, is going to be playing a set of interesting games for themselves. You can already see Two Head being knocked down, Manja on very slim HP, trying to disengage from the situation, trying to stay alive in what seems to be hopes for, the games over here. They get tagged up, so you can't see he's scanned, and he's trying to get the distance between him and the opposition. However, will he be able to stay alive with being has a solo? So many players still alive in this one, still managing to rotate in here. So he himself could be putting himself in a tough position, rotating to the very end of the map over here, finding himself quite close to even competitors Travis and Rejects. Let's see exactly what will be going down over there. Going over to Travis and Rejects, however, let's see exactly where they are set at. They're at Catty Corner, no elimination, so it looks like they are uncontested as well in game number 1, week 18. This is definitely going to be very, very, very interesting. Getting in a couple mushrooms, managing to stay healthy, getting up his HP, and I'm surprised this very late he hasn't even managed to get any of the heals, but being uncontested, they have nothing to seriously worry about. They can just focus on their gameplay of spawn and strategize the next couple games. As well, they're already in zone, guys. The zone is pulled up onto Raven and Travis, or Rejects and Travis. So the rotations for them are very much not needed at this point. They can just sit down and farm up those materials. And he does really need that. He really needs the materials at hand. Only 286 wood, 312 brick, and 353 metal. The team that was sort of engaging with him in battle is in a sort of fighting aspects right now, already using hard mats just so he doesn't get hit. Travis marking the mushroom so he can get back to decent HP from the tag, disengaging from that long distance battle. Still, so many things can happen going into the games over here. Let's see exactly what the case will be. Managing to heal up right now. Going over to Martin and Mali as well, which you guys will be able to see their POV in just a bit. Give us 1 second to just add them. There we go. Now, Martin did take a dramatic long break, and if you guys do remember, it was Martin and Vibes who were duoing, and then at a stage, Martin and Vibes had such a successful run of tournaments, coming second, third, etc. for a good relative time. However, Martin then decided to take a little bit of a break, find himself, and you can see him trying to make a comeback in the competitive scene. Let's see exactly what this means, though, with his new duo, Mali. Will they be able to come to the party with some, eliminations, etc.? Will they be able to secure some points on the board? It is interesting to see exactly what could go into play. Does a long break bring you off that competitive edge, that competitive hunger? We can only find out from Martin to see how his competitive gameplay will be set out for him over there. But for now, it does look quite happy with the rotations and so forth. Finding himself boxed up very, very early. A lot of these players playing passive, but this could be quite detrimental to the players who are not dealing those surge plays, who are not finding themselves in, getting some tags and so forth. Like I can imagine Septic and Ved, who we're watching right now, could potentially put themselves at fault, putting themselves at the edge of map, just rotating very quietly, could find themselves putting a lot of at risk going into the moving zones. We could potentially see them quite hurt in terms of not dealing the damage, because we got 75 players remaining. That Storm Surge is going to start to close in about 1 minute and 10 seconds. And then we're going to see the Storm Surge sort of activate here for us in game number 1 of second zone. So that's definitely going to bring an interesting aspects to the game. Let's go see if whether or not Ethan and Aviva managed to get revived or get out that position. It doesn't look like they actually did so. So we'll go back over to Clubs as well as Ace just to see what is happening with them and their rotation. For now, they seem safe. They seem happy with what they have in the back pocket. I mean, 2 launch pads, a blue a pump, as well as a couple AR ammunition. So they can definitely, try to secure height going into the first game, end game, where 340 AR ammo could do the damage, could do the work for them to try get as much eliminations. We saw this team in qualifier 1 being on height twice, getting the wins twice, so back-to-back victory royales, and we haven't really seen that too lately in the NiBBLE bi-weekly series. But Clubs and Ace, new duo, finally finding their footing or feet in the NiBBLE bi-weekly series, can finally do that. Just rotating on the dead side of rotations. They don't really need any Storm Surge. As you guys can see, 413 damage above. They're very much happy with what they have on hands. I mentioned Neymar being uncontested in the Misty Meadows could be quite hurtful to them. And you can already see only 123 damage above. So really, they will need to deal the damage going into fifth zone, where we could potentially be seeing Storm Surge arise from there. They could potentially be finding themselves, but here's an opportunity to get some tags, and they definitely do so. They went from 125 to 308 damage, so the Storm Surge plan or routing for them is already secured, and they don't really need to worry too much about fifth zone or even moving zones, because I'm pretty sure they could definitely be much happy in terms of those rotations. But Septic and Ved, who haven't found themselves engaged in any battle whatsoever, are relatively happy with the Storm Surge. I mean, 232 damage is quite decent. I wonder if we can maybe find a team that boxed up quite early, like maybe Martin and Mali, who just didn't find a way forward with a Storm Surge. You can already see them being on 1 damage above. That is definitely going to be crucial to them. And if they don't get any of the tags right now, they will be finding themselves getting tagged up by the Storm Surge. And in 30 seconds, that's going to be activating. We have a super stacked endgame in line for us, guys. I wonder if the servers could even stay up to par with the players right now, because nobody's getting eliminated. There goes the damage, 12 below. They're getting tagged up quite relatively as well. So now they just need to cover up and just pray and hope that their utilities they have in the back pocket is going to be enough. 4, 3, 2, 1. and Storm Surge is activated, guys. We're going to be seeing the lightning bolts come down onto Molly and Martin. Those minis are not enough to keep those players alive right here. 30 below. 3 players need to die. 2 players need to die. Will they be able to survive this one? And somehow, miraculously, they do get, the 22 damage above. So they need to just hope that it stays like that for them. And even if they do get a couple tags, hopefully that could be the potential play for them. But it does look like some of these guys are either getting doubly keyed or even getting struck by the lightning of Storm Surge. So we have a survivor. We have a survivor just because of how much damage they managed to just get by. Only 22 on the board, and that was really good for them. Going over to Neymar and Woke just to see if they need to make the rotations further into zone, and they are actually quite chilling here on the hill. They managed to survive that Storm Surge activation as well. 69 players remaining in the first game. Zone number 3, by the way, guys. We're just about to get into the next form of rotations, and Neymar as well as Woke are needing to rotate even further in due to them being on the white line. Center zone 3 is where you initially want to be. So let's see exactly how the team can sort of function on those rotations and how things can play out for them right now. Gonna get a couple of tags over here, but does look like the team can successfully disengage from this situation. They also do have red peppers. However, Neymar is trying to position himself just to get more tags onto these players, or even maybe potentially eliminations at hand over here. So in 4 seconds, we get to see where that next zone is going to be placed. And it does look like they need a vast rotation. They do have peppers themselves, so they could potentially be in a good play going forward for the next couple of zones. They want these eliminations, and maybe they can even work so in a box fight over here, because they still have about a minute to then get eliminations. But they also need to focus on themselves, because players will be focusing their rotations following in behind the players right here. Let's see exactly what goes into play. Trying to stay on the edge of zone. Getting a 3-2-1. They managed to crack and get a knock over here. So this is really good for the team. A good word of advice, guys. Don't ever build and heal, especially when players know you're cracked, because you just don't have that reaction time to a 3-2-1 when things start to line up onto you. You'll find yourself getting eliminated very quickly, just like we've seen over here from Neymar and Woke onto the opposition. If your guys are cracked, try to build a base, build a safe terrain of some sort for you guys. It does look like, however, Woke and Neymar at the bottom of the map need to find themselves rotating to the high over here. So let's see exactly what happens, how the rotations play out for them, because it could be quite tough in the rotations that they find themselves in. So from 4th to 5th zone, guys, we will find some of these guys literally needing some Storm Surge. I mean, 65 players remain, 50 need to get eliminated, and now here's Woke and Neymar trying to build up on the side of the mountain, and it doesn't look too good for them because a lot of mats are going to be utilized over here, and luckily they just didn't get focus whatsoever in this play over here. Neymar detecting exactly what could potentially go and harm them right now. A side jump from him, and he almost got caught over there, but luckily he makes it out of there and not really taking too much of the damage damage. So they're now in the zone quite successfully. Good job from them. Let's see exactly if they can continue this form of rotations out from the players. Glubs and Ace looking very much good on that surge, looking very much well on the rotations. I mean, they also found themselves a llama. They have the chili chugs at hand. A lot of blanks connecting due to the servers not really staying up to par with the party. But guys, I want to see whether Martin and Mali will be able to survive this time around. And it does look like they're good on that Storm Surge. They have 180 damage. We haven't already tuned into Rejects as well as Travis in to see what their positions are looking like. But they're happy with everything. Just look at how much damage they have above that threshold. They got a couple blanks up here, but he wants to get in more shots onto the teams, onto the oppositions. They can now focus on the rotation. They are also in a good position of play. So let's see exactly what really goes right now. Right here, Storm Surge activation, all zones. They managed to get a beam and to get a knock over here. So really successful coming up from the team. And you can see just how laggy things are for these players over here. So reaction time just not coming into play. They want to try and make a play for that. It is a good refresh and a good play and a decision coming out from Travis and Reject. So now they have max mats and they can play for the next rotation. So that is going to be interesting to see exactly what happens. But Glubs and Ace as well in a good position. Storm Surge still active, guys. So some of these players, which we just don't have POVs on, are struggling to stay alive. I wonder if the kill feed will be able to see someone getting knocked by that surge. And it doesn't look like we'll actually be able to see that coming into the action right now. But from 4th zone to moving, I can tell you so many players are going to get eliminated. So we'll definitely have about maybe 20 players going into the very end game due to the terrain. A lot of high rotations needed to be played. A lot of players will get blocked by the mats, you know, the tops and everything. So for the players that are already on zone and who would be getting the first moving zones are going to be very lucky in terms of how they rotate from these situations. 45 players remaining, guys. So we will see yet again another moving zone surge, but I don't think it will be active for too long. And I say we stay on board here, guys, with Glubs and them, as they need to now make a massive rotation for the next zone. They do have 2 launch pads, so they can use the launch pad for the first moving and even potentially second moving zone over here. Glubs and Ace with the back-to-back wins in qualifier 1. Can they do the same for us in the finals? Getting ready for that launch pad, and in 3 seconds they'll be able to do so right now. They take the launch pad out. Very high sort of rotation needed to come out from the team right now. And they're just trying to stay as high as possible to try grab themselves in a good terrain, in a good position. Players are dying left, right, and center. Mike Sticks gets an elimination, so that was really good from him. He does find himself into a good layer. Ace and Glove sticking together. 34 seconds on this rotation needed from them. However, will they be able to survive this? Not yet making it into the zone. Maybe the team needs to use another launch pad if they do find themselves in a sticky situation. What could potentially happen from the team? Let's see exactly. Top 20 teams remain right now. That surge just about to activate with 5 players alive right here. He goes down to the very low bottom, but that could put themselves in a tough position because it could potentially just pull in Max yet again and then find themselves in a weird one. And it does pull back in a way, but that's onto a high position, and Glubs needs to launch pad right now, and he won't be doing that there. Getting himself in a good one, but will Ace and Glubs be able to stay together is the question. And while we check if they can, we'll go over to Rejects and Travis to see how their rotations outplay. It does look like Rejects finding himself in a weird position with 11 HP. Now needs to rotate with no white heals at hand. Will he be able to survive this one? As Travis is trying to find himself in a good position, but it doesn't look like Rejects can stay alive, as now he's getting blocked by so many players over here, and he can say goodbye to this lobby as he gets knocked, and now Travis needs to rotate as the solo. Will he be able to grab in and clutch the plays is the question for that team over there. Neymon Vogue still alive, looking very much healthy. Both players on 200 HP. Both players have decent amount of mats. Now it's time to just get refreshes, just to get the eliminations. He's managed to crack the player. Neymar with a successful game number 1. Could we be seeing the comeback of a lifetime that we've been hoping for Season 8? A player in the box, they get that elimination, but not getting in the refreshes over here. For now, finally doing so, but he's ticking like a bomb as his HP goes from 100 to 40. That zone ticking in a lot of the damage that we have over here. Will he be able to stay alive in the rotation to go back to Gloves and Ace to see how things are looking out for them? And it's looking quite well. They've managed to find themselves on height yet again. The team with the back-to-back wins in the NiBBLE Bi-Weekly Series. Week number 18, rotating quite successfully. However, a player jumps straight onto Ace. Gloves takes a huge amount of damage and he gets taken out by Jordical. And that's not a good look coming out from Gloves and Ace. Hopefully able to redeem themselves in game number 2. Neymar down in the depths of zone. He needed that refresh. He needed that siphon to stay alive, and unfortunately just won't be making those rotations. So it's not really what you want from the team over there. These teams struggling to stay alive, really not what you want. Let's see if we can go jump on board with Martin and Mali, as it does look like they are the last remaining players in the lobby. However, dying 50th, just not going to pull it in. And this is the end of the POBs that we have on our hands for you, unfortunately, as they also go and escape and leave the lobby. But what a game on our hands. So many of the crucial players walking out of this one, getting eliminated. And it was crazy. Neymar and them popping off in some way matter. Gloves and Ace finding themselves on height, but managing to lose it due to a player jumping straight onto Ace, and he dealt a hefty amount of damage that Ace could not react to because it was a shotgun, and then it was the AR to clean that up. And Gloves, unfortunately, was cornered by the player down below, as well as a player to the left, and he just kept getting damaged, so we couldn't really see him living that one out. And then we went over to Travis and Rejects. Rejects, however, found themselves in a really bad position where the levels were not really there for them. You could see him trying to hit his way out of there, trying to pickaxe as much build, but on only 11 HP, you can survive in the zone for 2 seconds, and that was it. We saw him go down. We didn't get to see whether or not Travis clutched up his games. We didn't get to see who won the game, so we don't know what that leaderboard is looking like right now. But guys, we'll be back after the short break to see exactly what the positions are going to be like, where the players are positioned, and who actually came out in first place game number 1. So make sure you guys leave a like. Don't go anywhere. The action is still here to stand. Make sure you guys stay for game number 2, 3, 4, and 5, because this is the last finale of the NiBBLE Bi-Weekly Series 2021.
what we do here is go back.
Indeed, we go back into the tournament over here, guys. It is game number 2 that we are about to get our hands in and dirty because, man, can I talk about some consistencies coming out from the players, and we can look at that together right now. As you guys can already see, first place already going into Punishers XFA, Ginger and Jamie, guys. The champions coming into week number 18. Never mind that, let alone NiBBLE and Stale, guys. The third for Ginger Jamie last week is in second. So we have back-to-back champions really dominating, and that is so crazy coming out. I just love that the consistency out from the team, that from the players that is showing right now. Popcool in third, a really successful game from them. They actually struggled qualifier 1 to qualify, and then in qualifier 2 as well, they only had a single game at hand to make it into the finals. However, first game off the bat in the finals is looking so good from them, and they're showing up some consistency. But Voke and Dan take up that fourth place. Martin and Mali, which I mentioned, guys, Martin had taken a huge break from the competitive scene, and he's back, and he's fifth. E-Tech and Mike Sticks in sixth with 2 points behind. Bravado Gaming, Neymar and Woke in seventh. Goliath Gaming, Travis and Rejects in 8th. Vibes and Davs in 9th with 40 points. In 10th is going to be Ace and Glubs. So, what does today actually look like? We can see the schedule being 5 games. We've already done game number 1. Now it's time to go into game number 2, where it will be starting quite soon. Let's see exactly what will be happening. It's going to be an interesting set of games that we have. Then going into the prize pool, remember guys, the prize pool is 4,000 Rand, the biggest NiBBLE to date. It is also in the format of duos for the finale, for the final episode of the series, week number 18. And let's see exactly what that will be looking like going forward, how these guys can perform in terms of the top 3 players. For now, we know top 3 is Popcool, Ginger, and NiBBLE. Will they be able to keep that consistency on the plate is the question, because I can tell you it's definitely going to be a hard set of games for these guys that they have. You know, they've come into the finals over here, and already we've seen the likes of Travis and Rejects, which we usually see up on top of that leaderboard, but however, all the way down to 8th place. So what would be the plays going into game 2, 3, 4, and 5? I'd like to see exactly what these guys have in line for us, how they can actually play out the next couple tournaments, because this is definitely going to be an interesting tournament that we have on our hands. Still 4 more games, and the evening is still young for us, guys. So make sure you guys are sharing the stream. First and foremost, you guys are sharing the stream, as well as enter !NiBBLE for game number 2 to be entered into the giveaway that we're about to open. We'll make an announcement in the YouTube chat by Elite Pro Series when that $5 is going to be open. But guys, game number 1 is on its way, so let's go jump on board with that one over there and see exactly what we have on our hands. Game number 2, I do apologize, not 1. We just seen number 1. We saw the pop-offs come into the play, and I can tell you it was definitely an interesting set of games. Getting contested yet again is Glubs and Ace. We did see them with the win of Spawn game number 1, but can they win off Spawn game number 2 is the question. This time around, they also landed at their own place. So let's see exactly how they can actually stay consistent in terms of, you know, getting the loadout. Will they get the loadout at hand for them to carry on with the gameplay? Will they be able to secure those eliminations as well as surviving of Spawn? It does look like the split comes out from the 2 teams, so it doesn't even look like maybe Glubs and Ace will take this fight because it's too risky at this point to actually go in and jump in an off spawn sort of situation. They also do find themselves with a gold over there, which hopefully they do open that one because they desperately need the gold for some of these weapons and so forth. If you go to the other end of the map, you will be able to find, but only on 150 HP. They will need a stock up of loadout, and it does look like the team is going to disengage from the situation, or maybe a lie, and they're going to go straight into the W key onto Lucid and them, and oh, they flipped the truck. Trying to scout out. Okay, so at this point, we have the giveaway open to everyone, guys. So you might as well go in right now, exclamation mark NiBBLE. And the guys could be walking away with $5 at the end of the stream. Let's see exactly who would be the winner for that one over there. It's definitely going to be an interesting person who's consistent in the stream, shares the stream, gives you bonuses, guys. So make sure you guys are doing exactly that over there. For now, Gloves and them doesn't look like they're going to be hectically in an off-spawn situation, as they are quite separated from there. On the other hand, we've got Inferno and Paith with a super lucky llama for themselves. So they got the loadout that they need right now. So they're happy with that one over there. So they got everything they need to go into a winning position right over here. Chili Chugs, guys, is a very crucial item to have. It helps you with the rotations at play and helps you really secure your fighting positions and so forth. So going over to Martin and Mali, which did relatively well going into the end game over there. So let's see exactly what will be happening in terms of their gameplay, in terms of how things sort of rock up over there. But Mook, as well as Smiley or Smile Dog, finding himself in a tough one, as unfortunately they can't really get those eliminations that they need. And he's getting tagged up and almost down to 0 HP. He needs to build. He has the mats. Why doesn't he just build, cover himself up over there and get himself safely into the next zone, even into the next position? Trying to make a play for that reboot card. Really, really good idea. Try to get Smile Dog back into the fight. There is also reboot fans in and around them, so they can easily be in that place. So, well, the question is, will Morg be able to successfully bring his partner back in this one? And I just changed POV, but however, it does look like Morg is in a tough position. He does get eliminated at 43rd, gets himself out and dusted out of this one. And I wonder if that is potentially maybe Rejects in them. It is Rejects and Travis with the elimination at hand. They managed to get Morg out and dusted out of this one. So now they get the points at hand and they can honestly start to continue with the rotations of getting the first elimination. So now points are on the board, guys. They're starting to get active. They've already left Catty Corner. They will need to make the rotations out of this one as well. So it's going to be a tough one for them. Unfortunately, their previous game, they didn't have the luck going into it, and they found themselves being quite tough on that rotation. We did see them get squeezed in the rotation, and unfortunately just couldn't make it. Now we see a much active player team sort of double keying into the plays right now. Will they be able to get this elimination is the question, and I want to look forward to seeing exactly what would potentially be happening right over here. Does look like they're still very much on board with W King, trying to get those eliminations, trying to get those kill points. Let's see whether or not they can do so. Unfortunately, unable to scout out the enemy, and they're just gonna need to now rotate as a solo. And I say that, but then they get onto the beams over there, and Rejects definitely is gonna be tagging them up. I say we stay on board with the team for quite some time to see exactly what the decision making is gonna be here for Rejects and Travis, whether or not they do stay alive. Let's see exactly what happens right now. Good tags, managing to break the player as well. And also keep in mind, guys, that they are in zone, so they're tagging up quite the damage. So if they manage to beam the players a decent amount, they can get some knocks. And it does look like they are going to gatekeep in this position. 2 minutes until we also see that zone starting to rotate. So for Travis and Rejects, they need to start making that decision on whether or not they want to stay in this position of fighting the team, trying to disengage, trying to get all the way out of here. And Glubs and them finally also finding themselves in their own fight. They do get the knock, and does look like they're about to get the next one. But they can't take this risky fight, because if they find themselves getting eliminated, as we already see, Ace is done and dusted. They need to make the play for the reboot card. Glubs 1v1ing this opponent. It's a 50-50 risk, because he gets elimination points. He does as well find himself potentially getting eliminated. So it is a 50-50 position that we find Glubs in. And maybe they actually go in for the successful play onto the reboot van. As it stands right now, there's a lot of third parties that could potentially go into action. He builds in and around the van. He will get the reboot right now in the very corner. A couple more seconds. Now 5 seconds remaining on this reboot on Ace. If Ace can get to his loot as well, they're definitely in the play for successfully getting into the next zone. They expand out. He gets dropped as much as he can possibly. Half pots, minis, and everything. So now back at a decent amount of HP. And then they're going to go back into the loot just to get back what they had. And there we go. So Ace is back in fighting position. All the mats are still here. Or all the heals are still here, so they very much didn't lose anything when it came down to this one-on-one situation. A good trade-off for the team, and now they can continue fighting and taking on what is ahead of them. Let's go back over to Travis and Rejects to see exactly what they find themselves doing, what the rotations are looking like. They didn't manage to get those eliminations, which we saw them positioned on, gatekeeping. Unfortunately, just couldn't find themselves in the play over there. So now Rejects and them just going to be focusing on that rotation. Let's go over to Inferno and Pace just to see what's happening with them. The Storm Sedge gets warned to the players over here. And it does look like this team is very much happy with how things are looking like. 296 damage. They are getting focused quite a bit. but they're safe, they sound, and able to make the next rotations come out of them. Ethan and Aviva, unfortunately, last time around, had to die of spawn, and yet again, we seen the team dying on the rotation. So unfortunately, they just couldn't keep up with the rotations and try to stay alive as much as they could possibly. They get themselves eliminated, and that is just only GG's over there. On the other ends of things, we got Septic and Vade, who almost found themselves getting eliminated. They are relatively low on that damage threshold. And if we do see the Storm Surges like we did see last time around, this team, if they don't get the 2 eliminations that stand in the way, they will be in a tough position to actually stay alive. Because that 50-50 zone is going to be very, very tough for them. Oh, massive tag onto Septic. Needs to heal up, and he's using all his utilities as well. Keep in mind, guys, that 50-50 zone could potentially have that Storm Surge with 69 players remaining in the lobby, or 68 players remaining in the lobby. They're going to need all the heals, all the materials, and so forth. Let's go see what Martin and Puds are up to, or Martin and Mali, as they did relatively well. And this could be a huge story and a chapter for this team, chat, because right now they're currently in that top 5 position with a massive game at hand that they found themselves in. 52 points is what they're currently sitting on. Will they be able to stay consistent, just like we did see them in game number 1? They're not active mid-game or even off spawn, and had, you know, potentially almost been eliminated to Storm Surge. But this time around, we see them on that 1 kill. So they're definitely getting a lot more kill points if they play the same sort of rotations, the same passive, aggressive play. And I say passive and aggressive is because somehow they were not active in the entire lobby, but still walked out with 5+ eliminations on the team kills over there. Trying to make a rotation onto the vehicle. Does the vehicle even have petrol? Yes, it does. 65% of traveling for them. Getting tagged up quite a bit. But this is a really good side of rotation for them. So, Martin and Mali. But now the focus comes in. They need to get out that. They need to build in hot mats to stay safe. They're getting focused now. This is not looking good for the team as he's getting heavily focused right now. He builds all the way down. Unfortunately, it doesn't look good, as Mike Sticks is actually the one to get that elimination. They're also getting burnt, and Martin and Mali out and dusted out of this tournament for game number 2. And not really what you had hoped for, to see a top 5 position sort of get out of the way. And it was Neymar on them as well, focusing onto the positions, as you can now see them harpoon all the loot. And they have refreshes for days. They have everything they need to make the rotations into the play. We have Mandra and his duo. However, Mandra fully eliminated. We do see the duo at the edge of zone right now. So he's going to be in a tough position to actually stay alive in this one. Let's see exactly what he can do, how things can go for him. Tahid needing to make the rotation. End zone, getting tagged up by zone right now. Or he's lagged out. One of the two. That zone is ticking the most right now, and it doesn't even look like Tuhid will be able to survive this one, because in 4 seconds, I believe it's going to start tagging up for 5 damage. And he's just about to get into zone. Staying edge of zone, working out for this team right now. He's going to get into the zone with with only 20 HP. Let's leave the POV so that they can focus up and start making the rotations going into the next sort of rotations that is in play. I wonder if Tuhid, the console king, can come through with the rotations over there. But however, Septic and Ved somehow are still alive in this one, and they are going to be seeing themselves going into the 50-50 zone with 59 players remaining. In 10 seconds, that zone is going to start to shrink. Moabs gets an elimination, so that's really good for him as he ranks in the points. However, let's go see what Glubs and Ace are up to. 3 eliminations on Glubs and Ace, guys. So a comeback in the making for them, as they did not do too well. Dying 11th, if I'm not mistaken, on the leaderboard last time around, game number 1. Unfortunately, they just didn't find themselves in a good position. Let's see what Septics and them damage is looking like. Only 42 damage below. 5 players needing to be eliminated in the lobby right now. Or is that... Yeah, 5 players needing to be eliminated right here. Will the team be able to secure their Storm Surge or even stay alive is the question. We have 30 seconds to determine that. Will they go through and survive this one? Only 3 minutes and a medkit to keep them alive if the 4 players do not get eliminated. Trying to get in a server focus, trying to get in as much as they can right now, but not even that much clips at hand. Only 2 clips of AR ammunition to see them beam players around. 126 damage below, and in 7 seconds, things are going to get heated for this team. They're not looking around for the tags, and we'll start to see the players be in a tough position. 3 players remaining. Will they survive this one is the play right now. Storm Surge active. Couple players getting knocked. They need to hope for those kills to come through right now, as one player is in between them and actually surviving. No knocks have been played just yet. Shots are being active around them, so they need to hope that they can actually survive this. As soon as a knock gets played into the kill feed, they'll be much more happy with that over there. Minis are finished. They get beamed from height, and it's now just down to Ved to stay alive in this position. And it doesn't look like that's going to be happening, as now Ved gets focused, and it's Travis and Rejects to do the damage as they get more eliminations on board. A comeback story in the making for them as well. Just look at that. 3 eliminations at hand. The refresh match, 500, 500, 500. Very much happy with the positionings that they found themselves in as well. So, Rejects making a comeback. Neymar making a comeback. As well as Ace and Glubs making a comeback in the tournament. So the story is not yet over. For the people who are happy with game number 1, I can tell you things are getting shaken up here in the duo tournament, and it's getting rocky indeed. Will they be able to move left and right, bob and weave the shots that are yet to come for the rotations? Neymar Woke looking to try get some tags, looking to try get some eliminations. And this game's moving zones are going to be a lot more hectic than last one, because it is an even playing field. So a team on height is going to be so much happy with that. A team on low ground could be clearing the grounds. Will we be able to see that coming to the action as well? 48 players for that moving zone. They clear up their skies so they can get some damages in. They crack the player. He's literally one shot. They get the knock. How did they do that? We wonder. They want to get those refreshes that they so desperately need. Look at that. Only 100 mats. Now they get into the beams. They position themselves in a great play over here. They need to drop down and risk it for the biscuit because they need it. They won't be able to survive that surge or that moving zone due to such little mats at hand. They want the finishes right now, and that is all they're going for. Now you see the players being happy with the rotations. They got a couple chug splashes to play with as well. The rotations from Woke is going to get into action over here. The IGL to top and make the plays. They use the launch pad. It's a high launch as well. Dodge the mid ground. Go to sort of third level off the ground, but built up through mid-level. Now in a good position, but let's go see what Rejects and them are up to. Where did they find themselves sort of position? How will they be making those rotations? They find themselves on the highest heights of the map. And I told you a comeback is in play. And you can see that comeback electrify for us over here. For Travis and Rejects, unfortunately, last time around, had died so early in the game. But they said certainly happy with how things have turned out for them. And they can just look down onto the terrain, look down onto the players, and start spraying for some eliminations. And I can tell you things are starting to look juicy because that leaderboard is going to be so close now with game number 2 in line. Still a very long way to actually see these teams and so forth determine who wins this. They need to drop maybe a couple, 1 or 2 levels, but they still have a decent amount of mats at hand to actually use, and they want to get as much kills. But we talked about Clubs, Rejects, and NiBBLE getting in the action. However, it's not going to be Clubs to continue that comeback story that I so hope to see. In fact, they get eliminated at 17th place, which is a GG's to them. Rejects and then focus on that rotation. They look to be doing well on height. Let's go see what NiBBLE and Woke are doing on the very lows of bottoms. Getting some eliminations, and they're happy with that indeed. A heavy pump in the name of Woke and them is going to be so juicy. Let's see how they can focus on the rotations. We got the 2 Titans in this map on height and on low ground. It is Goliath. The first Bravado potentially going into that very last 2v2. And I'd so love to see who would walk out with a victory royale. Dropping mats for the IGL over here so he can continue the topping. Players looking to try get into the top to try mess up the players' rotations. But NiBBLE on top of things trying to get more eliminations, and he does so indeed. He gets the elimination onto Paith. Unfortunately, that rotation just was not successful. And is that Travis or Rejects on the low ground? How did things change out for them as you try to rotate over there? NiBBLE needs to get into zone. Luckily, those chuck splashes come at hand, and he's just making successfully into the zone right now. Players at the back, they do call that, but however, NiBBLE getting tagged up, trying to drop a player down below. They need to build all the way up. They don't have the mats to do so. So unfortunately, it's not NiBBLE and them to work out the pace, work out the plays in for them. And if you look at Rejects, he's here yet to clutch up his games. He gets a good tag onto the player, trying to get a med kit, but unfortunately, just was unsuccessfully able to do so. 4 players remaining. Now down to 3. Top 2, it's a 1v2 situation. He needs a massive head pump if he wants to even win this. But the players jump down below. They get the eliminations, and I wonder who won the game, guys. We're going to only have to wait to find out when we jump into game number 3 to look at that leaderboard. But look at that, second place with 8 eliminations. Definitely juicy points for Travis and Rejects. Name on them, unfortunately, running out of mats and couldn't continue to top ahead, climb up the little terrain that was in between them. Some competitors and oppositions holding them down. And unfortunately, that was the end of the story for them for game number 2. Travis going down quite early. And I wonder if that was him on the very low ground that we got to see Nemo sort of engage with for a second or two. And then we saw Rejects trying to clutch up. Unfortunately, the 1v2 just wasn't in his favor. He had no HP to work with. A double pump from the 2 players who remained meant that he got eliminated. But with second place and 8 eliminations, you definitely know they pulled in a lot of points to try climb up that leaderboard. Top 3 is where you want to be for those bragging rights, but number 1 is where you get to be the champion for the finale of finals of the bi-weekly series week number 18. Guys, we're going to take a short break while we be back for game number 3.
What we do here is go back.
Back with the NiBBLE bi-weekly series, guys. Game number 3 is just about to start, and we're going to be jumping on board with the gamers. But before we do that, you guys are probably interested in that leaderboard. And as you guys can see right now, Ginger and Jamie with the back-to-back wins. I mean, you have to love to see it, man. They're just so consistent. They're showing the consistency all the way from week 17 into today's games. Back-to-back wins, guys. So you know how crucial and how difficult that is to bring that consistency in. They somehow just managed to do that. But Travis Rejects all the way in second place. Bravado Gaming, Neymar and Woke in third. Now, we haven't really seen this in such a long time coming out from Neymar and Woke, in fact, because they just haven't had that spark or that lit to really juice them up all the way to here. But now they're finally third. Now they're starting to see now we're starting to see them back where they, used to be, where they potentially can remain. Popcorn in fourth place with a decent game number 2. E-Tech and Mike Sticks. Now, Mike Sticks potentially, according to everyone, has to be, the breakout star for season 8, the potential breakout star in the Fortnite community. He had won a tournament and he gained hundreds of subscribers in a single day. But Mike Sticks here, 5th place with E-Tech. In 6th is Vibes and Davs. In 7th is Volk and Dan. In 8th is Swizzy and Moabs. In 9th is Reepsy and Crispy. Now, Reepsy is actually struggling from internet issues and is finding himself actually, getting packet loss and so forth. So it's very unfortunate to see that come from such a titan of a player. Hopefully, the next 3 games are going in favor for him. Nyclone still in 10th. They dropped from 2nd all the way to 10th. So when I say a tournament is not guaranteed. A tournament is not guaranteed. You can die of spawn and then find yourself losing so many positions all the way down to 10th place right now. But game 1 has officially started. Game 3 has officially started, guys. So let's go jump on board with the players. Remember, the top 3 prize pool is 4,000 Rand. So make sure you guys are trying your level best. If you guys are in here spectating, in here for the action, this is definitely going to be so crucial. Let's go jump on board with Mandra, guys. He says he's winning this game. Let's see whether or not that is true, as he is landing relatively close to Travis and them, actually. Landing camp card, so he will have himself in a good position. Look how many people are going camp card as well, or even IO base. So many players in and around over here, guys. So camp card very much contested, very much sweaty, and this is going to be a very hard one here for them. It does look like they're going to go shambles, however, not even land at camp card, go shambles and just loot up the entire back end of the map over there. So that's definitely going to be a tough one for them. Let's see how they can actually potentially play that one out. And then going over to Travis and Rejects, where, you know, they haven't had a proper game for themselves of spawn. They've been contested somewhat, and you can see the team just, you know, land over here and then disengage from the entire scenario. So I wonder who could that potentially be. But going over to Neymar and Woke, they're not even close to that place, but that person keeps landing, looting up, and dashes with the truck or vehicle into the next place. Gloves and Ace, are they potentially contested yet again in game number 2 is the question. In game number 3, we had them, you know, contested both game 1 and 2, but by the looks of things, doesn't look like they're going to be contested, and they're going to continue successfully with their rotations into the next rounds. Going over to Smile Dog, we can also see them here at Weeping Woods. They're very much happy with, you know, what has come for them, and they don't even need to focus on the rotations and even so focus on what's ahead of them. Here, they're rotating. They're very much happy. You know, they got everything they need. Coral Ryan is getting eliminated somewhat in the games for them, so that's just unfortunate. Exility and Vapors in this game as well, but it does look like they do get eliminated off spawn, so unfortunately not able to keep up that consistency. Infernal and Paith were, you know, rotating in the end games, and they had an interesting game of their own. But look, now Paith is getting for hard focus, and it does look like the rotations and players are just going to come out from these guys. Now the beams needs to come into play, and unfortunately they don't even connect any of the shots over there, so they can't even release the pressure off of them. And the beams, everything is just not looking good for the team right now. They get the shakedown. Paith in the bush uses another launch pad to disengage into the sky, and he's down to literally one tap of a bullet, but they can't connect those final shots onto the teams. They will get the finish, however, over here, and that is them done and dusted. I wonder who potentially could be in the play over there, and very unfortunate to have, you know, Inferno and Pate get contested and get eliminated so early on. We're down to 82 players. Teams are starting to contest each other, starting to double key a lot more, and this is where the things shift. So from game 1 to 2, we had Storm Surges all the way to the very end. Game 3, 4, 5 is where, you know, the pace starts to get up. Players start to feel the need to quit from the tournament due to their positions that they find themselves in. Neymar and them still at Misty Meadow, still making the rotations here, looting up, getting that desired loot. It is actually crazy that Misty is very much uncontested. Nobody looking to mess with the Bravado Gamings at Misty Meadows. This used to be a highly contested area, but contesting such good fighters of spawn is just very, very hard, and you can see them no more contesting Misty. They would just stick to the rotations here at Misty and just bomb up as much as they can to try focus on the rotations going forward. I wonder if Mandra and them even have a decent amount of loot at hand, and it does look like they rotating vastly out of the positions that they found themselves in. I mean, look at Tuhid's HP, not really the best at hand. There is also an enemy in the distance, as you can see them just trying their level best to disengage from these positions. Can they, or will they get out of here, is the question. Trying to disengage, and they're on a hunt. You can see Tuhid heal up as much as he can. They're chasing. Instead of a vehicle chase, it's now done in a boat.
Ja, ja. Oh man.
Does look like they, however, will manage to disengage from that fight. That's really good from them. Martin building defensively over here. She's rotating right now. So Martin and Mali started this game number 1 as well with so much potential going into their games and so forth. But unfortunately, game number 2, we were spectating them. We were on board with them. You know, they did get eliminated quite early, and that was very unfortunate to see. It would have been such an amazing story to bring to you guys, you know, to sort of script off, you know, the comeback of a lifetime, as having taken a huge break to win or even place in the NiBBLE bi-weekly series. But things are not yet over for the team, as they can still potentially bring it back. Game number 3, you know, just pop off, and there they are, back in top 5. All it takes is a single good game, and they're back in this to bring it forth for you guys. Smile Dog and Morg, which we've never really gotten to spectate too much last time around. You know, they've just been getting eliminated. They've just been in tough positions. But now they are rotating in and around Catty. Very much low on HP, using all the bandages that they can possibly utilize. Still in zone, still sitting docks over there. So very much they can have the entire 4th going for them. Vibes and Dav, who we didn't get to spectate game number 2, however, is in game number 3 here at Craggy Cliffs. No eliminations just yet, but still making the rotations. And I thought things were going to start to be a lot more fast-paced, but we still have 76 players alive in the game over here. So things are definitely looking so much hectic for game number 3. I thought, you know, we would have a fast-paced game where players are starting to die quicker, but players are getting rebooted and players are still alive in this one. So it's not going to be an easy fight going into game number 3, which we're on board with right now. I would say then from game 4, we will start to see a lot of these players getting some eliminations and just rotating in the area. So people ask themselves, why are they not staying consistent in finals when it comes down to, you know, rotations, etc.? Just simply based that this is Battle Royale. You know, if you're playing Qualifier 1 and you win Qualifier 1, you don't know who is in and around you in Qualifier 2. You don't know what the skill base in Qualifier 2 is compared to Qualifier 1. So if you find yourself more consistent in the qualifiers, understand that it is solely based off, you know, what your rotations were in the process. Now needing to disengage his vibes and dives as they don't want to find themselves in a fighting position here in game number 3. Still so many players alive, still so many opportunities for placement points. They just focus on their rotation to get themselves out of this one. Player also gets rebooted. Now we're up to 78 players. However, Swervy gets knocked, so we will lose one player simultaneously as one gets rebooted, and things start to go back to 77 players alive. Let's look at Ethan and Aviva to see how things are looking for them, whether or not they got that storm surge, and they do so indeed. They need to rotate. They're getting tagged up quite a bit from everywhere. Now down to 104 HP. And remember what I said, guys. Try build as much as you can before you can even start to heal. And you can see exactly Ethan doing that. You don't want to find yourself rotating, get tagged up, and immediately start to heal, because a 3-2-1 situation will find yourself getting eliminated. Aviva quite low on HP as well on himself over there. Manjo with the dead side rotations, I wonder how things are starting to look like for them. Ethan trying to just expand out in his base, trying to not get focused over here. And they need as much as they can to happen for them. At least the focus doesn't really happen, and they can actually survive that. But look who's in a tough one, guys. Mandra, as he sits in a cone, not really knowing what's at stake over here. He's gonna start getting tagged up. Mandra emoting, dancing, celebrating this. Now I want to see his reaction to when he gets lightning struck. And I hope he actually continues in this aspect over here. Looks like he's rotating, trying to get a couple of tags. Finds himself with some minis at least. 2 players need to die. One gets knocked. Another player gets shotgunned. So he can try potentially outlive this. One more player is all that needs to be eliminated. And he gets the tags to survive this, actually. Definitely a heated moment here for the team as they just survived Storm Surge with such little HP at hand. Martin gets a knock. Let's go jump over to Martin quickly as he gets a knock, and Mally and them. Oh, it is a knock from a distance. So I doubt they'll be able to get their finish. Ace and Glubs, who, They had so much hunger. They had so much potential coming into this tournament in the finals, you know, doing so well in the quals. We can talk about it all day, but what realistically matters the most is doing so well in the finals. But unfortunately, the team just hasn't found, you know, that time to pop off. They were top 10 at the end of game number 1. However, under rotations had been eliminated. Now we in the Now we find ourselves 60 players remaining going into the 50-50 zone, so we could see all Storm Surges yet again for game number 3. The South African community just play it differently time in and time out. I mean, we thought we would have, you know, Storm Surge, a fast-paced game for game number 3. However, you find the team playing passively throughout the game number 3, so yet again, Storm Surges, and I'm very grateful to see such beautiful games being played out. Good tags coming up from Gloves and Ace, as they so potentially needed in this very tournament. But I say that then they got 659 damage, so realistically they are safe. They're happy with that one. Let's go see Manja, and I'm surprised. Okay, Manja is dead. Has now finally gotten eliminated, so we won't be able to see him trying to outlive the Storm Surge, trying to outlive the area of gameplay. Going over to Vibes and Dives to see how things are looking out for them. And only 87 damage above, but it does look like either way they will be able to outlive this one. They'll be able to stay alive and focus on that rotations going into the next sort of plays that we have on our hands right now. Ooh, Storm Surge, I didn't even know. But now they're above, so they're fine with that. I thought they would have been safe. But it doesn't look like the case. Is that they're safe right now. Dives and Vibes trying to just live, as they also do get focused in and around them. A player will get eliminated, and it's actually CK to deal the damage onto that team. Going over to Gloves and Ace to see how things are cooking up for them. Very, very laggy endgame. Storm Surge still activated, guys, with one player needing to die. So let's see exactly what happens. They use the launch pad to make the rotation into 50-50 zone. So many players are also doing that at the same time. So it was a perfect opportunity for them to rotate. They land bottom. Ace gets tagged up, so does Gloves, but they won't be able to live another day. Another zone rotation for them over there. Rejects and them haven't gotten any eliminations, so this is not particularly the same aggressive game that we saw them in game number 1 or game number 2. Going over to Neymar and Woke just to see how things are looking for them. They also didn't find themselves in a good position. And I think, chat, they couldn't survive Storm Surge. I don't think they had enough damage for Storm Surge. And we can wait and find out when this moving zone comes into play. Because if you look at it, they have no blue heals. They have no white heals. Could they have tried to honestly out-heal the game? We'll see once moving zone actually comes into play, because both players realistically had nothing in their inventory. Their mat counts as well is quite low, so their rotation is very, very tough. Goliath Gaming as well as Bravado Gaming finding themselves in the weirdest positions. And yes, chat, I think this team struggled a little bit here with the 50-50 Storm Surge, as they only have 57 damage above, 145 as players are getting knocked, as players are getting eliminated, down to 39 players. But I think realistically they don't have enough threshold to survive this one, and they're going to need to deal some damage onto the map, onto moving players who will rotate over here. Nice 33 tag to keep them above that threshold and to continue staying alive over here. Almost in zone, not that much mats. Three below surge with a couple seconds, and they just survived that, guys. They just managed to pull through. There's a launch pad that they can utilize, but they use their own, and oh, it does not work. As now they need to focus on the rotation over here. Are they separated? Does look like they separated by a thin hair, and they're able to meet with one another. So, Glubs and them, let's see what's happening with their position, how things are looking like for them. And no! Glubs and them getting eliminated yet again on the rotations. Not looking too successful. Vibes getting eliminated on the rotation as well, so not really where you want to find yourself in. Aviva getting eliminated. Ethan making the rotations as a solo. He tags up the player quite good over there, but oh, on the low grounds, really quite tough on the rotations for them, and they just couldn't really realistically stay alive. Martin and them are dead and not able to rotate successfully. Rejects and them on the low grounds getting some eliminations. We Love Wonder is the one they get elimination onto, but they get eliminated at 9th place. Rejects and Woke still alive in this one, and they now can change things around for them, and they can just focus on getting these eliminations. They've managed to get a siphon, and as well has refreshes alive over here, but still only one elimination on the board, maybe even nothing. Maybe that was just a player on the low ground where they've managed to get, you know, a kill on. They need to get out of the zone right now, as they are quite low on HP. Only 35, and if they do get a body shot onto Neymar, he could be one tap. Woke goes down, and this is not a game changer for him. He tags up the player, trying to stay down onto here. It's not really realistically where you want, as he can only breathe in zone for 3 seconds. He goes all the way over there. He tags up one player, but still gets eliminated. Who is this? Is this Ginger and Jamie on the rotations? We'll have to wait to find out as we look at these players who are rotating right now. The anonymous players on the leaderboard right here. Let's see exactly what happens. 5 players remaining. This could potentially be Ginger and Jamie, as we do see the team right now trying the most. And CK and Spooky trying to get a win for themselves, but quite low on HP. He clutches up an elimination. Spooky, a one-on-one situation, however, and it doesn't look like things going their favor. We'll have to wait and find out to see exactly who won this game over here for game number 3. And I thought things were starting to tie down for game 3, but they're just showing up to the party. They're just showing their competitive levels. Game number 3 with yet another story is showing to the party, guys. This was so successful for so many of the teams to try jump up on the leaderboard, but was it enough for CK and Spooky, who are not in the top 10, find themselves 2nd place position? We don't know how many eliminations they managed to grab as well in that play, so we'll wait and find out once we check that game 4 leaderboard when we jump into it. But guys, a short break to go into game number 4.
what we do here is go back.
Guys, extremely sorry for the long wait over there, but we had some technical difficulties. But jumping into the leaderboard and game number 4 that we have on our hands. It is going to be an interesting one, guys, as we see this leaderboard right now, right? Week 18, Ginger and Jamie in the first place position with arguably some really crazy consistency. I mean, they have a game at hand. If you look at it, guys, they're about 50 plus points ahead of second place. So realistically, if they do die of spawn right now, they still have game 5 to win the tournament. And if they are consistent, like a top 3, top 5 game number 4, they actually win the tournament because of that game at hand that they do have in terms of points at hand. Now, things can obviously change if Travis and Reject somehow win the game number 4 with 20 plus kills, and then the Ginger and Jamie won't have that game at hand because they will close in the gap between them. But Popcool with some consistency across the board, third place. Nyclo and Stale jump from 10th to 4th. So, like, anyone can be so consistent. And if you look at that top 3 as it stands right now, even top all the way to top 2, it is divided by 4 points. No, it's divided by 2 points, chat. 2 points splitting second all the way to thing. And Reepsy as well can potentially jump all the way to second place if they really have a good game at hand. All it takes is one game and that top 2 to 6 is changed dramatically. Let's see exactly what that will be looking like, however, coming out from the players and how things are set out. Jumping on board with game number 4, Glubs and them to see whether or not things will be working. So now, realistically, we don't know who is going to be winning this game. We have no idea how things are going to be looking out for these guys and how things are going to be changing. But 88 players jump from the battle bus into map number 4, where Glubs and Ace, were contested through and through at Dirty Docks. Will they be contested this time around? We'll have to wait and see if there's going to be action for us on board. But it does look like, however, the game is contested. Let's jump on board and stay with this team to see who will be walking out with the players. Does look like the team is disengaging from this fight, so they won't be able to engage in battle and actually have some eliminations at hand. Couple tags coming into the area, into the POI, managing to heal up and having their heals come in to effect as well. Let's see exactly what this team can do going into the end game. I was really hoping for a story coming out from this team, but it does look like, there's still some opportunity somehow if they can just grab a consistency of 2 games to try get into that top 5 position. They get 1 elimination. Now left for the second one, and it's a peanut butter editor box. A huge pump and elimination from Gloves as he comes through with the 2 kills at hand. A dunk onto them as well. So successfully controlling game number 4 to their advantage right there. That is exactly what you want to see coming out from the team. What a beauty of an elimination from Gloves, as well as Ace over there. Managing to secure their stuff is so juicy.
There's actually a good shout to come here.
Mandra them with a good drop spot for themselves. We did see the team struggle a little bit in terms of their rotations. Let's go on to board with Rejects and them. It does look like they kill one of their players over here. They tag the other one, and they're on the run for the rotations. Doesn't look like it's going to be happening though. So now finally getting in a lot of the kills and a lot of the loot. You know, they were contested quite a bit here off spawn. Their loot were taken out, so they didn't get the mythic orc, but now they have it, so things can change for them. Game number 2. Let's see whether or not things that can actually happen with them. Live Rejects and Travis definitely starting to pick up the pace. Has with everyone else in the map. Game number 4. I mean, we're already down to 65 players. We went from 88 to 65 within a minute or two. So definitely people are starting to doubly key, and it doesn't look like it's over just yet, as we see more confirmations coming into the party. Players dropping down, getting knocked and confirmed out of this one. 63 players remaining right now. So you can definitely tell things are starting to get active for Travis and them. They already find themselves in Rita row, looking to doubly key a team. Will they come out successful? If they do die of spawn, chat, well, this is technically off spawn, they will get themselves eliminated completely out of that top 5 leaderboard. And oh, double think, the player is quite low, and he's down to literally a smither of HP. He gets 24 tagged over here, and it doesn't look like this team will be able to survive the raid of Travis and them. Trying to get the wall. A good drop from the opposition right now. Almost getting fully boxed out from Rejects, but it does disengage and build out of that one successfully. Now they just need to heal up. So does Travis. He's quite low on HP. They do have some chug splashes. They heal up successfully in here. And now back to 200 HP. What can they do to end this position? They heal up. They're going up against a decent enemy over here. almost getting fully boxed. And in fact, the team they're going up against is really good, but there's now a third party who's coming to the scenarios over here, as we do see some players jump above them in a vehicle. Travis doesn't need to get hit hard over here. It's now a PG between these two guys. And I talked about this being a risky one, right? They could easily go from being second place to dying over here to getting rid out of that top 5. Because remember, guys, that top 5 was literally close to 4 points, literally separating the top 5. Let's see exactly what happens right now. Just healing up in zone, trying to stay alive for the most time being. Getting heavily focused over here, only down to 190 mats. And that's just wood. So if this fight continues the way it's going, they'll find themselves in a tough position. 70 builds, can't try get the beam onto the players. Travis is down to literally white HP. Trying to farm up as much as he can as well. 44 seconds until that zone starts to move. And with Travis being so low on HP, no white heals in the back pocket, this team could be saying goodbye to their top 5 placement as it stands right now. Trying to find a POV on the players, but it doesn't seem like the fight is that easily given. No match with rejects. He tries to drop the player. He won't get the knock, however, and it's Buzzy and then trying to get involved in the action. Travis, however, doesn't have any match for him or even Siphon heals. It does look like a medkit, however, is being dropped for the team. There's some bandages, but it gets tagged up. 4 builds to his name. 1 build now. The zone is also moving in. It does get tagged up, and no, it's retrieved to make an upsetting here. A 1v1 situation going to be played on to Travis. Will they be able to outlive this one is the question. So Neymar and Woke here positioned quite in a good place, right? They find themselves sent to zone 3. Let's see exactly whether or not they can stay alive. They are in that top 6 position where we mentioned is literally within points, within grasping, and first place gets 2,500 rand, second place gets 1,000 rand, and third gets 500 rand. The juicy top 3 teams will be walking away with prize pool in this one, guys. Who do you guys think is winning the tournament? We saw Ginger and Jamie with a huge amount of points on board. However, if they dive spawn right now, or if they dive mid-game, then a comeback from rejects or whatever could potentially go into play. So let's see exactly if that could happen with the team. However, we go over to Mandra. Mandra, unfortunately, not in the game. Find himself eliminated. Smile Dog, not in the game as well. Martin, not in the game as well, as they get eliminated. And it's just not looking good for those players who remain in the leaderboard or in the map. As we're down to literally such little POV, such little positions of game. It's just not going to be easy for these guys. Inferno and Paith sort of trying to focus as much as they can onto the players in and around them. Inferno in a good position. He can potentially get 50-50 zone, but the question is, will he be able to get the 50-50 zone? Neymar and Woke trying to, widen that lead, trying to secure their top 5 right now. But will they be able to do so is the question. It's such a thin leaderboard that we have on our hands from 2nd to 6th. We could potentially see the team in such a tough position of rotation. And if they do die, so 10th place, 5th place, that's not really where you want to be. You want to try guarantee your position this game so that if next game something goes wrong and you do die 11th or 10th next game, then at least you're in a good position to stay top 3 or even stay top 5. Because that's where, things start to get interesting for everyone in and around the top 5 positions, top 6 positions. I wonder how Reepsy and Crispy are doing this tournament as well, game number 4, because we saw them a couple points behind 5th, but still with the potential to even come top 3 for the tournament. Gingy and Jamie definitely have secured their position in the top 3, regardless if they do die of spawn right here, because they have a game in hand with how consistent they were. With the consistency that they've shown, it doesn't even matter if they do die of spawn, because they're here to honestly win the tournament. They're here to stay on top, and let's see exactly if they can stay in that position over there. Now, going into the first sort of 50-50 zone, 38 players remaining. They need to now make a rotation, and it does look like they can do so successfully with so much mobility at hand, the double movement of red chili peppers. It does look like, however, they are getting scuffed quite a bit, using a lot of their mats on that rotation, and however, they will find themselves on that white line zone, hopefully for the moving zones that we will find themselves in. Let's go see whether or not Rejects and them are in the gameplay over there, and unfortunately it doesn't look like they'll be able to show us that positioning. And the POVs, guys, unfortunately, game number 4, we've run out of POVs. We don't have that much. We have Inferno, who looks to be going out of this one quite very soon with such little HP. Even we'll go over to Rejects POV and Travis as they managed to get the team back in this one in fighting positions. It's good to see them in a fighting play right now as they try to secure that top 2 position right there. Still, so much things can happen right now. They've gotten a good pump, but they still need to focus on that rotation. A storm surge warning for game number 3 is exactly where you want to find yourself right now. Travis Rejects making a good rotation, but Travis quite low as he goes down to literally white HP of 10. He now needs to try find himself getting some eliminations. Rejects trying to rotate over here. He's very low on HP. He goes in with the short launch. Luckily, nobody focusing him on that rotation. He gets ahead of zone. Down to 28 HP white. It's healing up in the zone over here. He has some bandages to work with so that he can get to a decent amount of HP. If he can split those bandages alongside Travis so Travis can heal up. In fact, Travis has a medkit and Travis can get to a good position of HP. However, he is going to get focused and won't be able to continue that one. So Rejects, who has a solo, needs to try clutch up his gameplay. Needs to try do the most that he can possibly. Will he be able to do so is the question. Neymar gets an elimination, but Woke is down and he needs to clutch up. Now has a solo. He's trying to get his way out of the zone, but will he be able to do so? He has literally a second of HP and he gets down and dusted. Out of that one, it's now down to Rejects to clutch up his games, and unfortunately, even him is being eliminated and done and dusted out of the tournament. So unfortunately, that is the gameplay. Inferno submitting. So we had 22 players alive when Neymar had been eliminated. 22, guys. So much story, so much things can happen. The story is still alive for us over here, guys. And we don't know who is in that top 10 players that we had on board. Rejects got eliminated. So did who's this Neymar quite early on over there. So it's gonna be an interesting top 5 that we get to see. But we'll be back, guys, with game number 5 as we jump into a Be Right Back.
we do here is go back.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the final game that we have on our hands. And let's just say we already have a winner, chat. Yes, that is correct. We do have Ginger and Jamie, because I told you guys they had a game in hand, right? They had a game in hand, and that was the game being 50 points ahead of everyone, right? But now if you look at that leaderboard, you see them almost simultaneously, almost having 60 points ahead of everyone. In fact, I think that is 60 points. I'm not sure, chat. But they've definitely won the game. You can already start to congratulate them on social media. Go and jump on the Twitter and start saying GG's to Ginger and Jamie, because they won the tournament. I mean, it has realistically, as it stands right now, even if they do get griefed, they will win the tournament. And then look at second place, Reepsy and Crispy with a huge boast of points. They jump from fifth, sixth to second, and then tied with Popcool. Not really. 4 points behind is Popcool. That is going to be good for them. NiBBLE and Stale in the sort of same position as they were last time around in fourth. Name on them in fifth. But again, top six still really relatively close with one another. So let's go jump on board with game number one to see how things will start to look like for these guys over here. And yeah, let's potentially see what game number 5 looks like for Ace and Glubs. But this is the last game, guys. I want you guys to get hyped. I want you guys to show the love in the stream and so forth, because we are coming down to this final moment of competition where the thing is just going to be so interesting. So that drop spot or route of battle bus is looking quite interesting. These players now need to go to the very edge of map that they have their hands on, and let's see whether or not Glubs and them will be contested. We've seen them contested all the way from game number 1 to game number 5. Let's see if they can continue being safe over here in this position right now. For now, as it stands, it does look like everything is going well for them, and they can continue with the consistency in terms of placements and so forth. Already on decent amounts of HP that they find themselves in. Let's go jump on board at Bandru to see where they're positioned, and it does look like they're already getting eliminated. And Tawhid going edge of zone right now, trying to just live, and I think he will be able to do so successfully. He doesn't have that much mats at hand, so this is definitely kind of interesting to see going into action right now. And for the time being, I wonder what they can find themselves doing. But Smile Dog and Morg haven't had their time as well in the tournament, landing at Believer Beach, which is arguably one of the best drop spots that has been seen in Season 8. However, doesn't really pull zone. It doesn't really have that RNG on the zone. So, you know, the likes of even Neymar and Woke had left this POI to go to Misty just because of how many times the zone is being pulled at that sort of location. Now we get to see them sort of rotate into Believer Beach, and arguably, again, guys, one of the best drop spots we've seen in the tournament. And unfortunately, Viper and Exility just not in the tournament over there. We haven't seen Luca and Psycho in the tournament, but now we get to see them competing, and we'll get their POV for you guys. Does look like they're going in for the W key already. They have a decent amount of loadout and loot. Good tags, managing to crack the player as well. Psycho does get the knock onto the player, and one of them is trying to rotate out of this one, but it doesn't look like a successful rotation will be going into play. He does get eliminated, and they get sent back to lobby. So that is GG's to the team that had been eliminated. He had Craggy Cliffs, you have Swizzy and Moabs, who have been competing as well in the tournament, which we haven't really gotten to see. Moabs actually gets a knockdown onto an opposition. So let's go jump on board with Swizzy and Moabs to see what their fighting positions are and how things actually turn out for them. I think they've already done a clean out. The Swizzy and Moabs actually kill Luca and Psycho. A good position here for Swizzy as he finds himself already on height, but now sort of losing height. He's already got a good amount of damage in onto the opposition, so we could potentially see Swizzy and them win this fight. And there we go. There's some good tags that we like to see coming out from Swizzy. He can't get this elimination. He hits for 30 and a peanut butter edit. He takes one, hits the other. Moab's going in there with this SMG, trying to get this final elimination. But the player uses the launch pad and they don't care about the loot. They don't care what's at stake. They just want the eliminations at hand right now. Using a launch pad even to get into the player's box. Trying to just flick into the player's POV. Nice crack. And he gets the elimination. So unfortunately, the Travis Scott skins just couldn't stay alive in this one. Tried duplicating and unfortunately just didn't pay close attention to them, and they just had been eliminated over there. Trying to get Glub's POV to work. Doesn't seem to be working. The POV is not working, eh, Glubs? Rejects and Travis with 4 eliminations. 4 eliminations at hand here for Rejects and Travis as they try to turn things around, try to be consistent on the map and just bring in a heat of a comeback, maybe to second place. Depending on how Reapsy's games actually get played out, we could potentially see the team in that position where a comeback is definitely in line for them. Let's see what happens with their games, how they play it out, and how things come into action. But on the other things as well, we got Swizzy and Moabs, who have just been turning their attention to everyone. They don't care about their loot. They just want their eliminations. They want to go out with game number 5 with a bang. Swizzy in a tough position, down to 2 HP, needs to heal up. He does have some minis as well. It's a big pot in order to do so. Trying to get a peanut butter edit with his charge shotgun. Unfortunately, not able to connect. He goes all the way to the highest part of the map with the PG battle going into play right now. Can they see themselves getting the eliminations is the question. Now, just seeing the rotations coming out from the oppositions. They can't tag up any of the shots, managing to crack the player. 22 white. .22 again. They need to now drop into the map over here for some eliminations. They go in with a short launch. But instead of going into that battle, they turn their focus into someone else. And they now want to get this elimination. And the player just jumping out and trying to get into a different position. But it doesn't look successful as now Swizzy and them are racing onto these eliminations. And there we go. The kill comes in and it's NiBBLE who gets eliminated. Swizzy with 6 eliminations now. Just ranking in the points. Name on them still on 0. Using the heals up in Weeping. Reject. And them are alive. They're also quite close to where Swizzy and them's location was. Which was quite relatively close. Ooh. Rejects with the aim, managing to knock one player down. There we go. Both for now sitting on 5 eliminations. Getting another elimination as the guy tries to launch pad of that position, but unfortunately just can't. And at this point, Travis and Rejects are just running away with so many eliminations. And look at Swizzy and them finding their next target, just trying to get in a kill record or some sort for the very last game. A good position to land up on. Smile Dog and Morg still alive in this one as well. They themselves also have an elimination at hand, which is really good to see. Oh! Smile Dog, very low on HP, getting doubly keyed it seems. Now Morg needs to hold the pressure. Morg down to 100 H. Cracks one player. Tags him up. Nice! It's Moabs and Swizzy trying to get the revive. Unfortunately, they just can't. Small Dog left alone here to sort of clutch up his plays going into endgame. I don't know if he will be able to. Woke as well needs to clutch up the plays. He needs to maybe even go in for the reboot. Just doesn't look successful here for Woke. Trying to make a rotation into zone using so much mats. Does find himself, however, with minis. Rejects and them still on the rotation as well. And with 8 eliminations, guys. If you look at that leaderboard, let's talk about that leaderboard right now. Let's disconnect from this and talk about that leaderboard. See where they were positioned. So they were about 20 points behind and they have 8 eliminations, guys. That is so much points that they've gotten on the leaderboard already. So they're looking to potentially jump up to second place at the end of this tournament if Reapsy and them have found themselves being eliminated. We'll have to wait and see. Rejects gets tagged up a bit, down to 107 HP. He does have some mini essentially chugs to keep on the rotation. down to 20 players going into the moving zones. We have Travis and Rejects, who is alive, who have gotten 8 eliminations on the board, who have been so active in the very last game and so desperately needed if they wanted to find themselves in that prize pool. With that game 4 death, it meant that they needed this activeness. It meant that they needed to doubly key the entire leaderboard. And they came out successful with so much kills to their name right now. And all they need to do right now is just rotate, get in the placement points, and try to win the game if they want to come second. It seems that, you know, maybe potentially Reapsy is still alive in this one, grabbing in some placement points for themselves. So this one could come down to the wire for that second place position. And I can't wait to see exactly what that leaderboard is going to be looking like. Let's celebrate, however, Ginger and Jamie it looks like, however, they could have won the final game or even the final 5 games in total, because with that game at hand, with so much points at hand, they just ran away with this tournament, guys. And that top 5 has not submitted points just yet. A player jumps straight in the box, but he's asking for mercy. He's asking for trouble. Has the 2 kills. Just go to the names. Another player goes down. It is Folk. And there's one more player in the box. And Travis reacts quick enough to get that elimination. There's another player, however, looking to get the kills. And they do so indeed. Now, Travis and them come down to 5th place. Will they be able to have enough points at hand to actually walk out with the points that they needed? Woke still alive in this one, however, only 0 points. They try to clutch up some kills right now. He gets tagged. He needs this one final point. Unfortunately, just couldn't grab it in that head. And Smile Dog and Smile Dog is still alive as a solo. We saw Morg going down very early, but Smile Dog still alive in this one with a massive pop-off of 4 eliminations. He jumps into a player's box. He gets the 5th one at hand, and he's going out with an all-out bang for game number 5. I thought it would have been done and dusted, but now it does look like maybe it is done and dusted for this team. The players have won their game. We have finally reached the final position. We'll yet to see who won the games right there. We're going to give the players some time to submit their points. But Smile Dog somehow managing to clutch up over there at 2nd place position. Let's see if they do so indeed. But yeah, guys, this has been the finale. This has been the final NiBBLE series for 2021. A 4,000 Rand NiBBLE duos, and it has been so interesting to see it come to effect. The 18 weeks of competitiveness, you know, so many champions of late, as well as consistency out from Ginger and Jamie. They won week 14. They came 2nd in week 15. They won week 6. They came 3rd in week 16. Won week 17, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, they've just shown so much consistency on the board. But now we come down to the final moment, seeing who the champions are for week number 18. And I'm so happy to show you guys the leaderboard as it stands right now. We're still obviously waiting for Goliath Gaming to submit their points. So let's see exactly what happened with them. But right now, unconfirmed, let's just keep refreshing to see where the positions will be for these guys right now over there. We'll get to see that position come in quite soon, quite shortly. But yeah, this is the final week for the guys over here. Let's give that a little bit of a refresh one more time to see exactly where these guys are situated. So Goliath Gaming submit their points and they come in 3rd. Nightflow Stale coming in 2nd. Ginger Jamie with a 302-point game come in 1st. And think about this, guys. Ginger Jamie won week 17 alongside Nightclaw, but Nightclaw comes in 2nd place. The champions short of throwing up to the party right now, and we have to say GG's to them. Guys, this is the tournament. This is it. Done and dusted. Popcool in 4th. Bravado Gaming in 5th. Reapsy Crispy in 6th. Absolutely amazing scenes coming out, and a huge thank you to each and every one of you guys. But we still have, you know, the $5 giveaway to give to you guys. So let's go and draw the winner over there to see exactly who could potentially be walking out of that one with the prize pool. And we close the entries, we pick the winner, and the winner is going to be, drum roll, LV Chris. Can LV Chris DM or email info@eliteproseries.co.za. DM IROG on Twitter or Discord. I'll be Chris with the win over there. But guys, we've come to an end for the show, and we'll see you guys potentially in the next one.